Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is time to play some Magic all frickin' day. A couple little bits of informationationing. One, today and tomorrow we're going to be playing a lot of the top meta decks in Standard and Historic, starting with this Temur ramp deck in Standard, because this weekend, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, your pal Sean, that's me, I'm Sean, we're doing the Zendikar Championships for Magic the Gathering, and I'm one of the hosts with the amazing Maria Bartholdi as the other host. And Jesus, Maria Bartholdi is so fucking good at hosting, man. Holy shit. She is smooth, composed. Woo! So excellent. Well, let's adjust this. Boink. Bam. Boom. Thanks, Ghosty. Yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot of that today. Some sad news. We adopted a dog about 10 days ago on... let's see here, last Saturday. Made an appointment to take the doggy to the vet today, just to kind of see what's going on, because it was a rescue dog from a high-kill shelter, and, you know, she had some rashes and some, raw marks on her body, and we're like, oh my god, is everything okay? Is she a skin condition or something like this? She has heartworm, we understand. And the prognosis from the vet today is not good. Not good. So our doggy is going to be at the vet for the next few hours. Getting scans. Apparently there's something wrong with the little doggy's heart in addition to the heartworms. And also a number of other sort of infections. So if any of you want to see photos of my dog, you can go to Twitter, and she has a very cute sploot that she's doing. So very, very, very fingers crossing kind of moment. And, you know, worst comes to worst, we're going to give that dog a great old caretaking time. Me and my wife. So I know a lot of people are really excited, interested in the fact that I have a new dog. So I kind of want to let you know what's going on with them. The cats are now out of the bedroom. The cats are in the bedroom, and the dog normally is in the living room. And the cats are just like, woo, freedom! You know, wandering around everywhere, like having a ball. So right now I got my Share Bear up there in the box, and she is overseeing this broadcast. So that's how you know that there will be a minimal amount of technical difficulties. Other news, in not this weekend, because again I'm hosting the Zendikar Championships, but on the 12th, on the Saturday, the 12th, is day one of the 2-day DayKnight Festival. And the idea behind the DayKnight Festival is, normally you watch me playing games by myself most of the time. Let's have a weekend where we all play games together. So Saturday is the stream day, where we're going to be playing things like Among Us, Golf with Friends, Jackbox games. I'm also interested in seeing if Worms Rumble is any fun, the new Worms game, because I grew up playing Worms on the Dreamcast. And on Sunday is the community day, where some of you are running like D&D campaigns or just doing various on-the-fly pickup games of, you know, we had like Overwatch and Dota. Now we have like 3 Among Us lobbies running at once. If you'd like to join in, it'll just be on our Discord, discord.gg/day9tv, or you can tune in on that Saturday and you'll literally see me. You'll see me, Day9, a.k.a. Sean, doing it. EK Hawkman says, will there be any Dota 2 shenanigans on Saturday? I'm looking, EK Hawkman, to see if there's going to be time, because we have about 6 hours, and with about 90 minutes per game, that's about 4 games. And I think Among Us, Golf with Friends, and Jackbox games are just, we just got to do it, or we just have to do it. But I don't know what the last one's going to be, and I am interested in a few other games. And we've done Dota every single time, so we might skip a Dota this time. Instead, you can watch me just play on Wednesday. All right, what is this list all about? So because of the Zendikar Championships coming up, I'm looking at what are some of the most represented decks in the meta. Some of the ones that you've seen me play on here before, Gruul Aggro, used to be number 1, is now the number 2 most represented deck in the meta. Mono Green Food, I think, is number 3 right now. Gruul Aggro is the aggro deck in the format. You know, ping for some damage, maybe finish with an Ember Cleave, or maybe play a Great Henge and continue to draw out. Mono Green Food is, look at how much card advantage I can get with huge things like Feasting Troll King. The two that I wanted to look at today, one is Temur Rogue, which is considered sometimes a rogue deck, sometimes a control deck, and we'll see why when we look at that. But Temur Ramp is the one that I'm excited to play because Ramp is something that's near and dear to my heart as a lifelong RTS player. The ability to get more resources and use those resources to get more resources is just absolutely boner-inducing for someone like me. So, how does this deck work? Well, it's relatively straightforward. We don't do a lot at the start of the game. We really just have a Lotus Cobra to play early on. We have a Bonecrusher Giant as a form of removal. And this is kind of the early game, and then everything is all about ramp. Cultivate has become one of the all-star ramp cards because you get to put a land out, accelerating, and you also get to draw a land, giving you consistency for the next turn. Llanowar Visionary is a card that has crept its way into these lists more recently, and I think it's an excellent addition. It does it all. Often, you look at 1-mana accelerators like a Llanowar Elf, not as a get a lot of mana card, but rather as a get a 3-mana creature out on turn 2, or a 4-mana creature out on turn 3. Llanowar Elf is kind of like a cheat card. Llanowar Visionary is very, or I should say this deck is not trying to get anything out one turn early to punch in for a bunch of damage and build a board like that. Really, we are looking for two big things. Lots of ramping, to be able to, one, build up to a Genesis Ultimatum so we can slam a bunch of shit down. That's one thing that we are looking to do. Two, we are looking to stay alive until we get there. Some of the ways in which we will try to stay alive is Llanowar Visionary to be able to redraw so we can, like, maybe get a Bonecrusher Giant or some of these Shatterskull Smashings or maybe a Shark Typhoon. But beyond this, it's really just lots and lots and lots and lots of ramp. So again, early game, creature for ramp and some defense. Ramp. And then the finishers in this deck. The big one is Terror of the Peaks. With the Terror of the Peaks, you play a Genesis Ultimatum, a Terror of the Peaks comes out, and maybe you get a Beanstalk Giant with all your land, and Terror of the Peaks causes a blast for 1 billion. Again, spells your opponent casts the target Terror of the Peaks, costs an additional 3 life to cast. It's kind of nice, but really it's the second sentence. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Temur of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. So you just sort of big bada boom kabum and nuke the enemy. In the sideboard, which I'm a little bit less familiar with, some of them that make total sense is Run Afoul. What an easy way to deal with rogues. Scorching Dragonfire, easy way to deal with aggro and rogues. Chainweb Arachneer, very nice way to deal with rogues. We also have Vivian Monster's Advocate for some of the slower matchups, Shark Typhoon for some of the slower matchups, Negates and Mystic Dispute for some of the slower matchups. But really, it's going to be a lot of answers to the more go under and shut you down type decks, such as Rogues and Gruul. Those are the ones that we really worry about. If our opponent, quite honestly, is not messing with us too much, we tend to overrun. And Keeper of the Dust says, oh, chat, I missed some streams. Did Sean hit Mythic? Keeper of Dusk, I have 3 things to say. 1, no. Number 2, the big reason is we got this dog that we immediately saw had a lot of health issues, and it was a lot of work to try to figure out how to make sure the cats were comfortable and happy and the dog was comfortable and happy, because the dog seems to really want to chase the cats and smell the cats and get in the face of the cats, you know, things like this. But 3, I'm gonna say it. We all think it. Maybe we don't, but whatever. We all think the following. I think that 1-month ladders are bad. Is that too controversial to say? I think 1-month ladders are fucking terrible. I don't mind that anyone tried them out. I don't mind that anyone tried them out, okay? But I think that 1 month sucks ass. I think it's terrible. And I have some additional commentary, but what do I want to do? We obviously have to get to triple blue. Just cultivating is fine. How about a blue and a green on this turn, huh? Let's put the blue one out. So no, I didn't hit Mythic, and I'm sort of like, you know, whatever. You know, because even if I did, it's like, yay, I did it. Booted back to whatever rating it is, Platinum, or who, like, gives a shit. Now, let's see if we can pop off on this turn. Before I take another moment of gameplay, I want to note that my opponent is another variant of this ramp strategy that we're doing. The variant is, well, hey, Bonecrusher Giant, though it is a turn 2 play, it's 3 mana. So why don't we just build a deck with nothing but 3 mana things? 5 mana and 7? So this means that newbie Pinoy has no Ugin, no Lotus Cobra, some of these other things, no Shark Typhoon. But that's okay, because, you know, you can get a little extra value. Fadoink. What do we want? Green. When do we want it? Now. So we're definitely going to declare green here. Green. Green. We're going to do this. This just puts it out. That's right. There we go. Red. A good turn. No blocks. And obviously, if you're not running Lotus Cobras, what do you run? Love Strucks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I go green, you know, let's go green, blue, play this, play another green, and then what do we declare? We declare green, blue. We then drag out Genesis Ultimatum. We're going to put it out. Lots of land, so that's going to be an additional billion. Got it. Ba, 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 ba. So let's do I want to, with 6... Actually, I know what we're going to do. We're going to go this. We're going to cultivate out the final Lando. Play this. And I think that we're in okay shape. So let me finish with this match that is irrelevant to us. That doesn't matter. This card does not do really anything in this matchup that isn't better done by having a bigger spike sooner. So it's a little bit unfortunate that we don't have red. It's a little unfortunate that we don't actually have as much shit as I want to sort of pop off with, but that's fine, because we can do this. We can say, how much should this be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because then if it's 6 or more, deals twice X damage. Shoot the big captains. Goodbye. Auto pay. That's fine. Thrunk. Swing in with the team. Notice this deck, as one of the spell lands, runs a single Kazuul's Fury for the ability to just nuke apart a face. This gives us potential plays such as this one where our opponent makes a mistake. Perfect. Also, by the way, we've been having a number of audio issues that have been going on. So, look, I just wanted... Oh, whoops, I just resubmitted. because of the audio issues going on ever since I updated my encoder, it's been distracting as fuck. So I is there any audio sync issues? You know, let me just reset the settings really fast to repair any things that could exist. But it seems like everything's okay. Just firing this back up. If I did have the opportunity to sideboard, what I would remove is the cards that are more defensive, and put in the cards that are a little more proactive. I'll also take out the slow ones. So, for instance, Bonecrusher Giants, would we leave those in? No, my opponent doesn't have Lotus Cobra. So there's not really any 2 damage targets outside of the Lovestruck Beast. So I'd cut 4 of those. I'd also cut probably the Shark Typhoon, because that seems a little bit slow. I might consider putting in Negates or Mystic Disputes to be able to deal with the opponent's Genesis Ultimatum. Oh, apparently some of you are having loading issues. Well, the good news is, if you're having loading issues, you can refresh multiple times, which occasionally causes additional connections to inflate my viewer count. So that's something I really want. Darth Iroxium says, no board wipes in this deck for aggro matches? Really interesting question. Really interesting question, Darth Iroxium. Did my opponent disconnect? We're going to rejoin if it hits 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Looks like we're getting all greens on the stream PC, so everything looks good there. So it does look like my opponent's taking a long time, and Twitch is shit in the bed, so what are you going to do? Darth Iroxium is asking about sweepers in this matchup. So, first of all, I want to note that sweepers are primarily good in 2 types of situations. White weenie decks type things, where you have many entities on the board at once. And the second one is mid-range decks that will wind up with, say, 2 big dudes. And 2 big dudes is very difficult to deal with if you're not black. Because black has very efficient removal that says, kill a creature. It's really hard to kill a creature without black if you're like red or something, and where you only have like deal 3 damage. Or green, that's like deal damage equal to a creature's power, things like this. And that's when a sweeper is really valuable. Interesting spots where sweepers are not as valuable are, obviously, if we are building a lot of creatures and stuff like that. But if the type of aggro deck is more haste-oriented, and more play a thing, smash in, play a second thing. You kill the first one, I play another thing, and then they smash in, right? Like Gruul aggro that has a lot of hasters and a lot of sturdiness there where you need to deal with it fast. If you are running a sweeper, you actually don't really have an opportunity. Wow, I'm a god. I forgot about this card, so it's good. Against Gruul, you actually want instant speed removal, and sweepers tend not to be instant speed. So, how might we want to deal with an aggro deck with our style of rampery-bamperiness? We really kind of want to be dealing with it via cards such as Terror of the Peaks, via single target removal, via ramping up so big that then I play a Genesis Ultimatum when they have the board, and instead of sweeping it, I get a board that's even way bigger. So I have blue, blue, blue for Genesis Ultimatum. So I think that the play that I'm probably going to do is I'm going to get green. Because I have red, red, blue, blue, blue. Let's just play the Terror of the Peaks. We're probably going to take quite a lot of damage on this particular turn. But, you know, what are you going to do? Lovestruck Beasts are giving us the Lovestruck Beats. Our want and wish is to be able simply to kill off these 1/1s. No. That's a really shitty draw, you know? What can I say? Alright, well let's thin our deck. What would you like to call us? Thing the deck? Deck thinging. So, how do I want to do this? I could go like chump, chump. Because, I mean, I'm going to have to block both of them, you know? This is sorcery speed, so if I went block and block... Well, Obosh the Prey Piercer is going to come down, so that's probably what I'm going to have to do. Alright, well, you know, sometimes they get you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade 2 for 1. Restive Nebula says, hello? Am I here? Yes. Yes, you are. Big bada boom. Oh! Where were you at the start of the game? So I think you can see at this very moment why I was saying things such as, I do not like running some of the slower cards, and this is why. Because if you saw how quickly we plummeted down to 4. Okay, well, I mean, this is fucking terrible. I think we win exclusively if we draw Genesis Ultimatum into Terror of the Peaks. Well, that's not gonna do it. Green, green, red? I don't know if we can draw a thing. No. Now let's look at the sideboard. Let's take this shit out for sure. I actually think the run of fouls are going to be quite great here. I don't think we changed that much, to be honest. So let's see, how many lands are we running? We're running 22 normal-looking lands, and here's 24. 2, 4, 6. There's 31 lands total, huh? 32 with Kazuul's Fury. Okay. And what do we want to do? I think I might just put in this. Spikefield Hazard is kind of an interesting one to just swap out, but it hits all the 1/1s. And, I mean, really, it's Lovestruck Beast. Lovestruck Beast is what kills us. That's it. And I actually think that our main board is pretty good. But let's talk about what I was saying earlier. Let's talk about what I was saying earlier, right? I don't like 1-month ladders. I don't like 1-month ladders. Okay? So here's something that people do like. People like structured events. People like having structured events as cultural centerpieces. Such as, hey, it's Sunday. Time to watch the game. We're going to have a barbecue at my house. I grew up in Kansas City where people were obsessed with Kansas City Chiefs. I've never really had an interest in football, but my God, a whole lot of people just had football parties on Sunday. It was the day. It's the thing that you focused around. Being able to say, hey, it's... This is so close to being a good hand. I'm keeping it, man. I don't give a shit. Friday Night Magic is another one. Awesome. I used to play in qualifiers for tournaments. Wow. I'm so good and lucky and skillful. I used to play in qualifiers for tournaments that would last... that would last for like 3 months, where you'd play on the ladder, and then the top 32 were moved on to a qualifier, right? And I actually had a huge amount of fun growing up with things like the World Game Tour, which was a 3-month ladder. And at the end of the ladder, the top 32 were seeded into a tournament to determine who would be the champion of that season. I have fear that I'm going to get Bonecrushed. I think it is worth it, though. God, I want to get to this. Nice, very great. Very, very good. I used to follow the StarCraft scene that had three-month seasons a year, and then 1 month was the off-season. Or there was 1 month in between each season. And something off-season like, no, I do not wish to sacrifice this to a Spikefield Hazard. Alright, so we are highly likely to win this game. Because we have Ugin and Genesis Ultimatum. So we definitely want blue. Let's get green. Let's get the green out. And it was just a nice cadence for a build-up. It was a nice cadence for a build-up. Oh, shit. But that's okay. I want to do one. And then I actually want to do this. I actually want to go like this, put out this. I want to do it in this order, because right now I have blue, 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 red, red, green, green. And I have a board that Newbie Pinoy is going to want to eliminate. Yeah, I liked 3-month cadences, 3 to 4 month cadences for things. It's DayKnight the Thinker right there, man. We're gonna really nuke some shit. Technically, I could have played the Bonecrusher Giant, but I wanted to do this. Right, like, and dude, those 3-month loops, those, like, sustained me until I was in grad school, man. That was my life, was focusing around those 3-month chunks. Or, you know, you have the usual, like, okay, like the StarCraft tournament circuit. Let's see, what's the, yeah, it was in the first semester, so it was in the fall. And then spring would be off. It'd be like chill time, right? It was like summer to winter was generally where the StarCraft season would be a thing. So my opponent doesn't have enough for Genesis Ultimatum because they don't have enough blue sources. All right. That's right. Still want to leave this up. Okay. That's okay. And so the idea of 1-month ladder resets, though...
Beyond perception.
Oh, actually, did I maybe just lose? I mean, that's actually, I guess, kind of good, right? I do want that reset. Whatever. The idea of 1-month ladder resets, or I should say, the idea of ladder resets in general, I think make oodles and oodles and oodles of sense, right? I think ladder resets make, like, the most sense because then, you know, someone can kind of, like, work their way up, experience the joy of working their way up, working their way up, working their way up. Ah, and I achieved rank 400. And then it resets and you get to try again. I understand the joy of resets, but dude, like 1 month is literally so fast, it feels like I'm not accomplishing anything, I'm not participating in anything. It would be like if football season was 3 weeks long. And that was it, then it just moved on. Why are these things not coming out? I'm sort of fascinated by this. Because, I mean, I feel like just smashing Ugin after Ugin's probably going to be pretty good, huh? So there's just not enough of that. Alright. Well, that's pretty tight. By the way, the play that Newbie Pinoy is trying to do is trying to play this at end of turn, and then be able to play Obosh the Prey Piercer and deal double damage with Brazen Borrower. Little do they know. I've got the answers. And when there's not enough time for something to sit, I feel like it loses so much meaning. Like, if I got into, you know, as a kid, if I was top 3 and... Okay. Well, sometimes they just top deck it. Sometimes they just top deck it. If I, when I was like number 2 on the World Game Tour ladder, and I was like, yeah, that feels really good. And then the season would end. And then it would say that Sean was like number 2 in that season. And there was only 3 seasons in a year. Because again, it was like 3 months on, 1 month off. 3 months on, 1 month off. So on, so on, so on, so on. And StarCraft 2 had a huge problem with this when StarCraft 2 first came out. Because StarCraft 2, there was no structured scene, and MLG, I should say, a lot of the esports of 2000 to 2010 was 1 weekend long tournaments, because it's the only way you could do it cost-wise. It was way too expensive to have an entire venue rented out and do like 4 hours of matches a day, every day, for like 12 weeks. I mean, literally is financially infeasible. So what, MLG and other events would do is they'd say something like, okay, we have 6 events in the year, and each of them is like 1 weekend long. That's it. And these are the marquee events, because it's the only way that we can actually get everyone in the same damn room together, affordably enough to run these tournaments. So MLG was incorporating StarCraft 2 into their circuit. And then you had like NASL spike up, and NASL had a whole bunch of weekend-long tournaments. And then you had IPL, because IGN was like, I guess not IGN, but like some people in IGN were like, dude, we gotta make IPL a thing. We're gonna start having those weekend events. And then you had like YouTube and Twitch and live streams starting to become a thing. So then you had, YouTube MCNs, multi-channel networks, were just like, oh my god, we should also run our own StarCraft tournament, because we think that will be thick, solid, and tight. I'm not bolting the Gilded Goose because this is mono green food, whose threat to my Lotus Cobra is a 4-mana wolf. So what I'm going to do is wait 1 turn, play a land, cultivate, and then the 2 land. Never mind, we're going to get killed. This fucking sucks! Whatever. So what wound up happening in StarCraft 2 is that you'd have like MLG this weekend, IPL the next weekend, NASL the next weekend, IEM would have a tournament, and then like there would be a weekend off, and then it would be like another MLG tournament, and then there'd be another. I mean, it was a new champion being crowned every fucking weekend. It was like way too much. Red. Okay, well, let's go ahead and... I think this is maybe more so what I want to do right now. Blue. We have 2 Ketria Triomes. Let's get a green out, huh? Blue. And it just took forever. It's e-gaming. I was in the conversation with my brother in Artosis when the e-gaming thing came up. I was there for the birth of it. I was there for it. Brief tangent. So, once upon a time, when gambling was becoming a more robust industry, for short, it was called the gaming industry. So, this is where you have phrases like, oh yes, they have gaming regulators, or the Nevada Gaming Commission. So gaming wound up getting reserved to mean gambling. And a lot of investors who, many investors, obviously to have a diversified portfolio, wind up touching on a lot of different sectors, so that maybe they might have something in medical or technology or industrial manufacturing or, food. So they were looking for a category name for esports and video gaming. But gaming was already reserved for gambling. So they started to call it e-gaming. And if any of you have ever played games, you know that that's the dumbest fucking thing that anyone's ever said. You hear that and you're like, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's definitely an alien. An alien said that, not a human being. Fucking hilarious, man. Red. Alright, I definitely counted some stuff. Maybe a little incorrectly here, but this is going to be fine. I think I might want to not play the Ketria Triome and instead cycle it. So this is still fine. And so I was telling this to my brother, and Nick thought this was the fucking funniest thing ever. And Nick just was saying e-gaming the rest of the night, man. He's like, yeah, no, let me call some of my e-gaming buddies. I'm really hoping that in 2021 there's enough e-gaming tournaments to support my e-gaming casting. It's just fucking funny, man. And then Nick and Dan started to say it all the time on the GSL, and now it's bled out through the StarCraft community. Now it's just a thing that people are fucking saying a lot. So fucking go, Nick and Dan. Anyways, so coming back to this, you know, the StarCraft 2 pickle, as it were. Go ahead and bop this down first. This pickle that my dear StarCraft 2 brethren had in the early days is that there would be an MLG champion, and then there would be a different champion the next weekend, and then there'd be a different champion the next weekend, and then there'd be a different champion the next weekend, and this would just keep going and going and going and going and going and going, where just like there was no stability to the scene. Because part of the benefit, too, of having, like, a 3-month season is you can start to actually track what's going on. And I even counted my mana correctly. I'm so sick. For instance, if you were watching... What a fuckface. If you were watching something like... you know, an OSL, the old on-game net Star League for StarCraft, and you saw a player in the round of 16 play match in week 1, play a match in week 2, and then in week 3, it was their decider match. Would they advance or would they not? And it was so easy to understand what the fuck was going on. It was so easily trackable. And then if they advanced to the round of 8, you got to see more of them, and you saw one player for like 6 whole weeks before they got knocked out in the round of 8. There's enough time for it to, like, lodge in your brain what the heck was... Oh, fuck yeah! Oh! Boop, boop! Let's do blue. Blue. Crack. This is so motherfucking stupid. I don't have enough land. I fucked up. That's fine, I can still play the Beanstalker. Which might actually be more correct. Oh! Ha ha ha! You thought building a board was something good to do in Magic? Get shit on! It's really hard to fuck up with some of these huge things. It is time to investigate. Alright, let's put these ones out. This color. This color. I solved it. We've solved e-gaming. And this costs 6, and the other one costs... yeah, it's fine. And so you sort of, like, had enough time in the OSL days to track what the heck was going on. Or if someone won, if Flash won a tournament, then they got to say, in the entire next season, Flash, the previous champion, Flash, who's won, Flash, could say Flash. There would be 3 champions a year in OSL. And you can track 3 people a year. QQ, we have a billion. So first what we will do is we will make X equal 6 and shoot this one and this one. This is 6 damage. This does not spend everything that we have. which now gives us just enough left over to shoot like this, and then to take the Bonecrusher Giant and say, see you later, alligator. Ooh. Ghost fire. Ghost fire! So, by the way, Twitch has been having some issues loading Cardboard Live. Let's go ahead and close it and reopen it. Let's see if that fixes it. Twitch has been having some issues today, so we're not stressing too much about it. Still says I have 0 viewers, which might actually be true. No one's watching me. Can I get an F in the chat? Yeah, and I think that when you have these like 1 month ladder seasons, you know, like each individual season starts to not make any sense. It only starts to make sense contextually. Like, I hit Legend in 11 of the 12 months. Like, in Hearthstone, you saw people that are like, I'm a 42-time Legend player. You know, and you'd be like, fuck, you hit Legend a bunch, bruh. I don't know. I really think that 3-month seasons is like a sweet spot. 3-month seasons. I like 3 to 4. 3 to 4. Alright, so we're up against an only creature-based deck here, huh? I don't think that we're really going to get a lot of value with a slow card. So I think that the Scorching Dragonfires are actually going to be quite good, I think. Is that true? The only things that it can hit are the Goose and the Mammoth. Hunix says, I was going to say, you mean season-length seasons? Russian Ally says, 1 month is probably optimal for grinding, though. If they did it 3 to 4 months, they'd need to invent like 6 extra ranks and would run out of metals or precious stones. I believe that it is true that if you literally didn't touch the rating system at all, and you had 1 month seasons, I think that you'd probably feel... probably bad. That would probably feel bad. But I think that... I don't know, I still think it's like completely reasonable to just say, okay, expand that structure. Because the biggest thing to note, experientially, a rating system is primarily a progression experience, not a skill measuring experience. And what I mean by this is, you know, in very sort of simple tautological senses, if you're an amazing StarCraft player and you just didn't play any StarCraft games this season, then you're going to have a low rating. And no matter how good you are as a StarCraft player, you can only earn, like, at most, say, 30 to 40 points a game. Like, that's like the most that you're going to be able to hit in a lot of these circumstances. By the way, so when I'm looking at this situation, I am saying this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, which means Castle Garenbrig can activate and can smash out a Feasting Troll King, and I don't want that. So I have to debate between what do I think is better? Trying to get out a more land to be able to get to Ugin to deal with the board, or is it better to remove this now? Given that my opponent has gone Florahedron, Florahedron, Gilded Goose, I actually think it's highly likely that my opponent just has a Feasting Troll King and an extra land to activate it. So for that reason, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I mean, I think that we're just going to be up against... Yeah. Perfect read. Literally a perfect read. I'm so good. And by so good, I mean I, you know, fucking play this game a lot. Might be a good day to chump. Anyways. anyways. You have, if you're a good player, you still can only climb up a limited amount of time, or a limited amount per game. And in fact, if, for instance, let's say you had 5,000 identically evenly matched players who would go 50-50 against each other, you would get, if they all played in the same ladder against each other, again, assuming they're all the same skill, and all going 50-50 against each other, you would actually get a bell curve, with some people having really bad records, some people having really good records. What you would not get is everyone having 50-50, in case you thought that was what would happen. With the way the rating systems work, it actually just creates this bell curve effect. Okay. Okay, let's see here. So, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sounds like a normal distribution to me. Yes. It would indeed be a normal distribution. Or as, when Gauss, the mathematician, was studying this kind of thing, he correctly presumed that it would be a Gaussian. It's a little math joke for you fucking nerds. So in this way, your rating in a ladder system, there's a correlation between your skill and your rating, but it's not like a strict measure. It's not like you can say, because this person has 4,000 MMR and this person has 3,500 MMR, that the 4,000 person is strictly better than the 3,500. Because of really simple things, like the 3,500 player maybe literally just doesn't play that much and cannot participate in it very much. Conserve the health. All right. So if therefore I am someone who's making a ladder system, if therefore I am somebody who is trying really hard to figure out the best experience for someone who's playing on a ladder, what am I trying to design for? And I assert that the answer is progression. It's the experience of progressing through and leveling up and being a better gamer, as it were. I remember when I, play a lot on StarCraft ladders, it was really fun to try to aspire to hit the next rank, right? To aspire to hit the next breakpoint. Man, I hit C last season. I hope I can work and then hit B. That's my goal for the next season. I want to try to hit B and try to go all the way up. Try to hit these breakpoints. Lucas Moratore has gifted us 5 kind subaronis in the pepperonis. Hello. Lucas Moore says, new month, new subs. Happy December, everyone. Happy December to y'all indeed. I'm just going to shoot both of them anyway, so. Kaboom, pow. Boom, bop. Oh, he turned his dog sideways. Oh, it's a sideways dog. Thanks, Lucas. And I think that if you can create in a ladder season an interesting experience, I, for instance, would love a achievements tied to a season and a longer season. Like, how cool would it be if, let's just imagine that there are exactly 3 seasons a year in Magic. Let's do 4 because 3 months in a literal season, we'll have 4 seasons in a year. We have the winter, spring, summer, and fall seasons. Oh my god, no! I can't believe you've done this. Believe it or not, I have plenty of those.
I have greater matters to attend to.
Well, alright. Imagine if in the season you could click on how I did in like the fall season or some shit. Big. You know what? I'm gonna shoot this. Red. Just gonna spend the mana now. Imagine if you could click and it would tell you what your highest win streak was, what your win percentage was for that season, what your... Oh, I don't care, man. I'll just shoot this in the face. If it told you, you know, if you had various things like, win a game, like, I'll use StarCraft, because I always use StarCraft as an example. Win a game that's over 30 minutes long with under 10 supply at the end of the game. You know, and that's your close call award. Like, you could get these, like, various awards per season. And this is something that literally already exists in the world. You know, I used to play in an Ultimate Frisbee league. And, you know, they would have stupid awards at the end of the season. You know, like... Little fun, silly reward-a-ronies. I was gonna like this guy. You know, like best layout, best hammer. Hammer is a type of throw. It's not like someone would bring a hammer to the Ultimate Frisbee League. You know, the favorite pet that would come to the league. You know, things like this. I blocked nothing. Actually, I should have double blocked there because I'm literally nuking my whole board. X equals 4.
An opportunity to act rashly. Chance to fail.
I mean, shit like that is like so fun. It's so cool. And with built-in data in games, you can get like so much awesome stuff out of there. This one. Because I would love, like, if in Dota they had some number, like 4-month seasons. At the end of the season, it would show me what my win rate was for all the heroes that I play in that season. Yada, 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 yada. Sounds like I would like the new Hearthstone reward system. My understanding is that everyone is very mad at Blizzard right now. That I don't really know what's going on, but I see a lot of people who have... I've never seen so many hands on hips before. And I don't actually know what the nature of it is. Truly, I do not.
Consider this a warning.
Very cool. My understanding is that Blizzard, there was a way to grind for gold by completing daily quests and doing things, like winning games and giving people the finger, I don't know. Like, the same way that there has always been in games. And with all this stuff of grinding things, Blizzard went, let's make a more comprehensive, I think it's like a battle pass kind of thing. Like a battle pass where you can grind games, which will give you progress on your battle pass, which will unlock packs and rewards and gold and all this other stuff, right? They basically went from this reward system to that reward system. And people think that that sucks and they would prefer this, is my understanding. Not sure who's winning, but it's definitely not the viewers.
Beyond perception.
Lose More Choices sounds similar to MTG's Mastery Pass. I literally, I purchased like one once and didn't even dump levels into it. And I have zero idea what the value was that I got. I don't even pay attention to it. I'm actually so sick of unnecessary reward systems. And I want to be clear, I do not think that all in-game reward systems are bad. I actually don't. What I'm tired of is, like, I cannot go get boba from a boba store without them explaining to me how I can min-max their boba reward pass in order to get free boba. And I keep having cards put in my face, like, here's a punch card for... And then if you come to your laundry on Tuesdays, we do 30% discounts. I'm like, I'll pay full price, fucking leave me alone. That has become my official policy. Does this have trample? It doesn't. So I can do this and eat that, huh? But the problem that we might say that would happen is that then this would come back to life. But we don't really care, right? We don't really care. Because these are all 6, huh? I'm so tired of credit card points. Did you know that if you spend points like this, and if you go fly on an airplane, make sure you hook it up to your frequent flyer program. And I'm like, look, let me get on the plane. I want to have the boba, and I literally want to buy this with my money. That's what I want. No, but you understand, every time you spend money, you actually get more money back. No fucking way that that's possibly true. There's no possible way that I fucking believe you at all. Okay, so let's see. I just kill everything that my opponent has, and then I... And here's the thing, when it comes to, like, the games that I play, I clearly like Magic, as you might imagine. I like MTGA, I stream it and play it all the time. I really like Dota. I stream it and play it all the time. I like these games. These games are great. Really, 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 really good games. But I just can't keep up with all the mastery passes and battle bullshits and whatever. I don't care. I don't care at all. I have Dota Plus and Dota, and I get Dota shards that I can use to buy gems that don't affect the gameplay at all. I kind of, I actually kind of like most of the cosmetics in MOBA store stuff that I've experienced. I go first. I don't have any ramps, and I have the payoffs, so I'm just going to mulligan for the ramps. Zaramps. I don't think I need a Glasspool Mimic. Glasspool Mimic is like a little value card that occasionally is a Lando Calrissian. Yeah, I mean, I like things to be relatively straightforward. For instance, if you watch here, you will get me making content. Sometimes, if you watch me, depending upon the game that I'm streaming, there will be drops enabled. Right? Went from 1 thumb up to 2 thumbs up. But what I'm not is literally your home for random bullshit drops that I think, in a circumspect fashion, will get you to give me more viewership time. I'm not here to min-max you. Alright, we're up against another Obosh the Prey Piercer kind of thinking-ass thing. Like, Heroes of the Storm, I liked the way the monetization worked. Because there was a clarity to it. I liked that I would accumulate gold, and then I could go to a store, and I could buy it with gold, or I could buy it with dollars. Done. And then there was, like, heroes that you could pay for, and there was cosmetics you could pay for. Like, I understood it. This is going to be a shitload of card draw. I think I'm just accelerating to Genesis Ultimatum, though. And I do it by playing this, and then I get 1 mana. Green. I pop this for blue, because we need blue, blue, blue. still want the red left over, so we still want blue, and we can get green now because we have this red source in the hand. Red. So we're going to have green, green, red, red, blue, blue, blue. All right. Red. Oh shit, yeah. Bing, bang, bada, boom. It's me, Gatling Man. That, this, this, this. I hope that this was 5 damage. There was the 4. Great. Hey guys. It's your boy Terror of the Peaks. I haven't talked at all about these games, and I'm having fun. Alright, so again, I don't want this, and I do want this, and I kind of feel like I actually want the Scorching Dragonfires in here. I kind of think actually that I do. Do you think this deck has to run? I think I actually take out the Lotus Cobras. I think that's the play. I think this is the correct play. I think this is really, really, really the correct play. Yeah, and like some battle passes, for instance, like here's the thing that I think is really clever about the battle pass. First of all, it creates gameplay. I want to play to unlock this thing, and then when I get this thing, I want to play more so I can unlock the next thing, and so on and so on and so on and so on, you know? Like, I'm going to buy the battle pass, then I'm going to play Hearthstone, which will unlock another pack, which will give me more cards to be able to then go back and keep grinding, and I think that sort of gameplay loop is really cool. I really like that. I think that sort of progression's fun. But sometimes I just wanna play the game and have like a simple choice. Just like I want this. Here we go. Enverm says battle passes are one of the best recent additions to gaming. Makes money, incentivizes play, rewards players, win-win-win. Yeah, oh yeah. I think it's tough for someone like me that plays lots of games, lots of different games, and like every game is just like battle pass, battle pass, battle pass, battle pass, battle pass, battle pass. Cinera says, "Was there lethal with Terror of the Peaks damage there?" It could be. It could be. I'm busy talking to you, great people. Again, we don't have any of our ramp cards. We have all of our payoff cards, so I think I send it back. So this is a very awkward-ass looking ass hand. So I'm going to put the Glasspool back, and we go this, 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 and then do that guy on turn 3. For instance, this Battle Pass is not great if you don't commit to the game for a long-term stretch. Yeah, because I mean, like, if there's something like, hey, Sean, you play one game, that's all you do, all your friends are centered around this, you might have some other things that you like. A game you play on the subway when you're going into work, but this is the game that you play. And if they battle pass fight it, I'd just be like, oh, it's so good, I can't, you know, I'd be like so excited. Better red than dead. Yandrin says, most free-to-play games are all about manipulating FOMO. As someone working in the space, it's depressing. You know, I mentally liken it I'm going to do this play because if another 1-mana creature comes out, I just bolt it. I kind of liken some of the psychology of monetization in games to the psychology of being a good partner in a relationship, right? Events are fun. Getting excited, ooh, the battle pass is coming out, what's going to be in it? And that anticipation turns into planning. Ooh, what's in the battle pass? Okay, let me do this. Uh-oh, the battle pass is wrapping. Hey, guys, let's spend this entire weekend grinding out the last few levels of battle pass. Like that. That is actually quite fun. No joke. I think that's kind of fun. But we see an underlying problem here, don't we? No, you wouldn't dare play a non... Oh my god. Alright, well, it's this. I should have manually tapped. There's something cool about that. In the same way that it is really cool if you have a spouse or something and you plan a fun activity for her. You surprise her. She doesn't know what's going to be happening this weekend. Then you have, like, date night, and it's just, like, really amazing and wonderful and lovely. And all that fucking bullshit. Right? Let me just tap my land correctly. I'm going to tap this. I'm going to tap this. I'm going to tap this. I'm going to play this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get green. I'm going to welcome to the party this guy. Right? That's wonderful. Now, imagine if instead of actually having a good relationship with a spouse, instead of what you were trying to do was to maximize certain KPIs. So this will be 6 damage, right? 6 damage. And we might Ugin next turn, so we should eat it. Imagine if you were trying to maximize various KPIs, such as number of times that she texts me back every day. You know what might be a really effective way to get her to text me back more often? Send horrifying and dramatic texts all the time. You know, the show is falling apart. I don't know if I can handle it. Oh my god, Sean, what's wrong? Good, okay, good. We got another text message sent. KPIs are going up. So that's shoot me for 1 billion and then shoot me for 1 billion. So we got it. You know? Part of the reason why Britt and I text a lot is because we have stupid, funny conversations that both of us enjoy. So by participating in those, it's very rewarding and satisfying for us. And if we're looking at KPIs, we might be like, oh, well, Sean, with a healthy relationship has like a lot of, like the metric of just total text exchanged is high. And this other relationship that's very toxic and bad where one person is constantly manipulating the other person into thinking that there's enough drama that they need to drop everything to give them, well, hey, look, they're both getting a lot of text action going on. So according to this metric, things are going fine. And this is kind of how I feel about a lot of free-to-play game monetization stuff. I think that I am wrong about this, and I think I actually do want to just put back this and not worry about it. I still think it's important. I think that there is a real problem is that it's so easy if you come up with an absolute brain dead set of metrics. That the metrics are very easy to see and to measure and to increase. But some of the more touchy-feely things, you know, are quite challenging. For instance, things like what emotional themes are evoked by this piece of art? What are those? And see, like Cult Drakon, I'm going to take one of your comments out of context. Or I should say, I'm going to take one of the phrases you used in another situation and pull it out. We're talking about art versus profit. But this is the problem, is that I think too often people are doing things using the KPIs that, because the art is worse, as we might say, like the quality of the design and the experience is worse, it will actually cause the profit to go down. I think of it less as a art versus profit and more of like literally good versus literally bad. Like the number of times I have Gigi says, I zoned out for a minute. What does KPI stand for? I mean, let me tell you the function of it, because I don't actually remember what the acronym is. KPI is basically, here is the piece of data that I am using to measure whether I am succeeding or failing at a thing. Ah, that's right, key performance indicators. Yeah, so for instance, let's say I was trying to measure if I was a good streamer. And the way that I was going to measure it is by raw viewership numbers. We might say that Sean is not doing a good job. Because my Twitch dashboard is still broken, so it says that I have 0 viewers. Okay, how do I want to accelerate this out? Is it better to play this first? I think no. I think what's actually going to be better here is to... Can I Z this? No, I already made the choice. That's my bad. My bad. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Genesis Ultimatum next turn. So, so if that was the KPI, then I might do things like ViewBot to get more views. I might try to collaborate with larger streamers to get their viewers, and things like this. But I don't use that measure. I don't use that KPI. Oh, bing, bong, bada, fada, bada, boom. Select this to copy. This turn was good. Yeah. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this should be some good bone crushing. And the thing about KPIs, and again, I would argue that viewership is not the only number that I care about. One of the ones that I really care about is seeing repeat viewers. We have the longest subs on Twitch. Now, I was the first person to have subs on Twitch, but just because that's true doesn't necessarily suggest that someone would care to tune in for that long. We have insanely long-time subscribers in this channel. Okay, so first things first. I'm going to play this, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to pop it into red. I'm then going to take the Terror of the Peaks. We're going to play this. This hand is so spiky. Yeah, look at this. Tiao, 39 months subscriber. Mr. Prodigious, 103 months subscriber. EK Hawkman, 51 months. Lucas Moratore, 3 months. Effie Artoria, 9 months. Oh, these must be new Magic viewers. Marlo, 26 months. Jeevesy, 44 months. Asmodai, 50 months. Inverum, 70. JTS is me, 67 months. Grima, 77, 33. And a G and a G. Asmodai says he said my name. Asmodai. And Asmodai's always doing his Vince McMahon face. Oh, it feels so fucking good. Yeah, and that's what'll keep you around for another 50 months. Let's get to the clean 3. Anyways. Let's keep shitting on people. What am I talking about? Brain-dead KPIs, I think, are incredibly easy to measure. For instance, and I mean, you should actually research some of this because it's fascinating. Mobile games that didn't make money. Because a lot of mobile games are thought of very different from a game like Magic. Magic is a game that is trying to get me to play for like 15 years. And if you've listened to any Mark Rosewater, the lead designer of Magic, if you've listened to any of his podcasts, his Drive to Work, or read his amazing Friday blog, Making Magic, he talks about making the game really resonant, creating emotional satisfactions, sort of striating the different types of experiences and gameplay patterns they want to have for their emotional qualities and things like this. That's what they're trying to do. So the monetization sort of sits on top of that. The monetization model for many mobile games is kind of comically bizarre when compared to traditional gaming experience. The thought process behind a lot of mobile monetization is, you are going to play this game for like 6 weeks and put it down. So how do we maximize the amount of money we get out of you in that 6-week period? How do we maximize the amount of money we get out of you in that 6-week period? And then how do we also acquire new people to come play this game until we feel like we've tapped out humanity? And this is what's known as user acquisition. So you want to be able to do things where, you can pay like $10 per user is like a common number that's both tossed out and that I'll use because I like round numbers like 10 and 100 for the sake of math. But if you are paying $10 a user, you need to figure out how to, on average, get to like $11 a user. But what if what happens is early on in your marketing, it's $10 per user. But later on in your marketing, you get to $20 per user. What literally am I saying? I'm saying that at the start of your marketing, a bunch of people that were interested started to play. But when you got later on in your marketing, even though you were exposing yourself to the same amount of people, fewer and fewer of them were actually choosing to install because you've probably tapped out those that were interested. So let's imagine for a moment you're a mobile game that is making about, on average, $11 per user. How do we want to just immediately win the game on this turn? 1, 2... Okay, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4... I can do it. Blue. So again, what if your marketing team was expecting $10 per user and your mobile game is making $11 per user? So you're thinking, okay, what I want to do is I want to invest $100 million into this to make $110 million. But what happens if instead of it actually hitting 10, it's closer to 20? Well, now you've spent $100 million. Instead of getting 10 million users, you got something like 5 million users, which made $55 million. So you spent 100 million, you made 55, you have a net loss of 45 million. It's fascinating. It's like utterly fascinating because it's a completely different business model, right? It's almost like thinking of like movie tickets. I sit down, I watch a movie, I'm done with it, I no longer am going to spend. Right? That's it. So how do we get more people to churn through the fucking theater? Right? How do we get more people to churn through the mobile game? All right. How do we end Dude of Valor's life here, brah? So here is how I am going to possibly do it. All right? I'm gonna try this. Do. Blue. Blue. I need to make this blue as well. Blue. Red. Red. This is so greedy of me. I'm the most powerful nerd alive. I always forget about this fucking card, man. I am just self-owning so hard. I am the pinnacle of greed. So yeah, I mean, like reading about this sort of stuff is utterly fascinating because it's like all data-driven and all like, okay, because again, if we're only expecting people to have like 6 weeks where we play this game, we actually should probably minimize development costs because I mean we don't even need that much content. So let's actually maybe just carefully analyze the metrics of a game, and we analyze this, and we actually think that probably we can't make money if we market that. So $0. We'll spend $0 on this. This we actually think we can make a tiny margin, $1 billion. Put $1 billion. You get this shit that's just like, you're just like, holy fuck. You get these kind of numbers that are just like absolutely off the charts. What did I click? Oh, that'll do, pig. That'll do. I'm thinking green, blue. Green. Let's move red, huh? I'm running it out, man. I'm up against the Jeskai deck. No, I'm not swinging with that shit. And I think part of the challenge of mobile is I absolutely think that there are amazing mobile games. You can make amazing mobile games, but based upon everything I just said, you can see how you can get in a situation where you're just churning out bullshit, trying to find the one that has the right metrics, and you just market the crap out of it. Then you contrast this with something like Hearthstone, where two people, Ben Brode and Eric Dodds, largely just looked at each other in the forehead and talked and worked until they thought they had a good game. It was the quality. They spent a long time on it. Oh, a Felidar retreat ain't gonna do nothing due to Valor. Agreed. It's an idiot flying shark!
I come with the wisdom of the ancient. Do not ignore.
Yeah, Benbro didn't design. He just laughed continuously until the game made itself in front of him. I have no idea what my opponent was. It's like some sort of Felidar retreat Jeskai kind of looking ass deck. Bye. So I occasionally start to lose track of my point because I'm distracted by the game. But since we're talking about this realm of things, I mean, it's really just coming back to this core thing about, I think data is interesting and can be useful, but I think that sometimes if you're so KPI focused on something, you can just shoot yourself in the foot so freaking hard. I think I can cut the Spikefield and go negates, disputes, Shark Typhoon. Kind of want to get Vivienne into this. I'm going to remove a Terror of the Peaks, which might look psychotic. Or do I just want more power cards? No, I think this is actually good. I can't remember the exact context that led us here. Maybe someone can be my memory for me. Why are we talking about data and analytics and KPIs and this stuff? Why are we talking about this? Because, well, let's see. Tracing back, I was talking about day 9 viewer metrics, how that can lead to weird seasons, ladders, bell curves. Oh my god, that's right. No, and that's right. That's right. We were talking about seasons and ladders and bell curves, and then we were talking about battle passes and how I like battle passes. Yeah. And I remember. Okay. Here was my point. That when you use purely data-driven stuff, you can wind up in weird situations. And I was sort of using a touchy-feely sequence of statements, which is like, if you think about how you might behave in a relationship, there's that qualitative component to it about being thoughtful and being kind and forming bonding that might lead to some KPI, like your text messages go up, right? I think that sort of qualitative thing is so important, and I think that it's very easy then to experience a monetization model. And because it's, quite honestly, poorly made, your brain goes, this monetization model sucks, when what I think actually sucks is its implementation. Its execution of it. Because, oh yeah, and I remember we were talking about that, like, art versus profits sort of metaphor. Art versus profits. What is the best approach. And what I would argue is that if you have... And I mean, actually, we'll take, say, Hearthstone the game as a really great example. Hearthstone the game itself... There's nothing I want to counter here. Fine. In this discussion, I think that it's not an either-or, because I think that what can happen is someone that's going metric-focused can actually just be making something that's total dog shit. Because they're not thinking about some of the qualitative things. Yeah, Yandrin says, Archer's Prophet is a false dichotomy, but useful for dealing with how people think about games. Yeah. You got it. You know, in terms of public speaking, I tend not to like chattiness as much as I enjoy very focused discussion. So we want to leave up Mystic Dispute. The ideal situation is where I play Vivian Monster's Advocate, and then I have the mana available to dispute mystically. Alternatively, Dude of Valor can do something like hard cast a Shark Typhoon, and I can just shit on his plans. See, I wouldn't want to counter this. I'd rather play, like, Vivian than counter. Although, given this situation, it's probably better if my Lotus Cobra lives to go Shark Typhoon Dispute. Okay. So now we're going to go back to the original plan of Vivian into Mystic Dispute. Good. As public speaker, I'd like to have a little bit more of a focused thesis, as it were. But, you know, we're just wing-wanging it at this point. We're just sort of talking about all sorts of things. If we just take all the tidbits that I've discussed in this segment, here are the tidbits that I think. I think latter seasons should be longer, like 3 months, and be more eventified. I think you can make it cool. 2, I think that if you use data as the leading decision maker for you, you can wind up with really stupid outcomes.
A world of monsters. This is my paradise.
Vigilance, Reach, Trample. I actually think I want the Vigilance.
Beauty lies in variation.
Okay. And also, I think that there is not actually a dichotomy between art and profit. I think that often things that are done in the name of profit, or clearly with the only purpose of being a source of profit. Oh! I think that often these things can net result in making the product bad, and they don't have to. I mean, it's easy to see. Like, for instance, let's take a shallow game that has a lot of monetization in it. I would say that the problem is that the game is shallow and bad, not that there's any sort of monetization that's causing problematic badness. Alright, so first things first. I'm going to make Vigilance, because I want to be able to attack and block.
We will adapt.
I'm going to play Shark Typhoon. And it looks like they have everything that they need. Schwalm says, my day job is enabling other people to reach their KPIs. I'm struggling to find KPIs that are good approximations for happiness and productivity of my colleagues. Any thought on that? I would need a hell of a lot more information. And, you know, the funny thing is, I have heard this... so if you're talking about, like, I work in a large org that's trying to do very complicated coding problems and make technology that the future is going to be built on. How do I increase the productivity of my employees and etc.? I don't know enough about large-scale software development for the world. I don't even know. I don't even know. In terms of creative, like, for instance, how can you tell if the book that you wrote is a good book? How do you tell? I've actually heard this described as that you need someone with really good taste. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, because if my opponent can counter that Mystic Dispute, they will very likely wish to counter that Mystic Dispute. And now I can blow up the whole board. I sort of like this formulation that, like, you need someone with good taste. Taste is a thing. So we have blue, blue. Well, we're missing out on blue. What are you going to do? I did it. And I mean, I've heard of people evaluating artists like this, where, you know, you'll get, like, you know, a magic artist who can just be like, an elephant? Yeah, I can make an elephant cool. They're like, what about a camel? And they're like, no, camels aren't cool. They just have this, like, intuition about shit. And then all of a sudden you have fucking Loxodons in the game. And Loxodons are like, sweet! I was talking about this a little bit last night, that I feel like one of the issues with social media is that a lot of the measures of success are if I'm participating a lot more. Villain's Jeskai deck is so rad. I love this deck. This deck is awesome. This one. Green. I would like blue, blue, please. Blue, blue. Blue. Genesis Ultimatum one time. Schwam says, so specifically I'm working in engineering productivity. I think of myself as the nanny for engineers, keeping them happy and cleaning up shit in their crib. So my role in the next few months is specifically to increase cycle time on entirely new projects and products we create. Oh, that's abstract as hell. I mean, I know, for instance, one of the challenges that comes when you have very abstract problems, like, how do we make sure that we're efficiently working on this platform that nobody's ever built before? And I've heard you sort of invert the metric analysis. So, for instance, instead of, like, how do we reduce the amount of time that it takes for someone to code a checkout page for our e-commerce site? Instead of doing that, you say, how do we increase the amount of time that people are able to spend working on their tasks without distractions? And then you can sort of measure the total amount of time being able to devote to the task. Because if someone says, how long is this going to take? And the answer is, no one knows because we haven't built it. It's very difficult to measure if you are reducing the amount of time it takes to hit that. However, there is a guarantee that if you increase the amount of hours that someone is able to spend without distraction, that is guaranteed to help you towards your goal, even though you can't know how long it takes. And once again, as someone who literally has not worked at large-scale tech companies developing world-changing products. I could be totally full of shit here. Maybe I do want my terror. Terror. I don't know, man. I'm going to cut a Lotus Cobra because I'm insane. I have a friend who was a producer for an engineering team who described the difficulty of being able to get these types of exact estimates of things. Keyword Justice, have you ever worked at a large company as a normal employee? No, I've never worked at a large company. I have had the pleasure/weird experience of having many short-term projects with a lot of very large companies. And having a lot of friends that work there as a result of, say, the After Hours Gaming League that we ran for a while and then sort of closed down. That had a whole bunch of people that worked at large Fortune 500 tech companies. We had, worked a lot with Red Bull. I've worked a lot with a lot of game developers of huge varieties of sizes and this sort of thing. But, I had a friend who was a producer for a bunch of engineers and described how difficult it was to figure out time of tasks, and that the wrong way to do it... Actually, now I think of it, I have two friends. One was a producer for just engineers, and the other was a producer for just artists. And now that I'm thinking about it, they said two very similar things, which is, if you are the producer and you're saying you need to art someone in every 3 days, that's what you need to do. And after 3 days, you're done with this character. Move on to the next character. You get 3 days. You're done with this one. Move on to the next one. 3 days. Then you're doing producing wrong. What you need to do is, some people will take 4 days to finish their characters. Some people will take 3 days to finish their characters. There's a sort of norm. If someone with this repeatable task is taking 30 days to finish a character, yes, it's an outlier. But if you have 3 and 4 and 5 day individuals, your goal is not necessarily to take the 5-day person and pull them down to a 3-day person. Your goal is to work with the fact that you have 3 and 4 and 5 day producing people. And sometimes you can look at the 3 and 4 and 5 day task doers, and the 5-day person has some sort of workflow issue that is messing with them. Perhaps they have a computer that locks up, and they have to restart, and they lose little bits of work every now and again. And you solve that, and they go down to a 4-day person. That's great. That is enabling one of your beans. But again, the goal that they described to me was that one should not be trying to be the whip as a producer and get everyone to reduce the amount of time it takes for them to do a task. It's about maximizing the amount of time that those people can succeed, can work on and succeed at their tasks. And you will have a bell curve of productivity. You will have the more prolific engineers that just seem to be able to code faster than the less prolific ones. And frankly, that's okay. That's okay. And now, Schwamp, I think that on a scale of 1 to 10 of how valuable this information I'm providing is, I feel obligated to say it has to be at best a 3. It has to be at best a 3. Because I'm not someone that has ever been a producer for a large-scale software development team. But I am the parrot who can vomit out shit that smarter people than I have said. I'm on a scale of 1 to 10 here. Or 1 to 100 if you prefer. I hate DayKnight. He's on a scale of 1 to 10, he's a 1. Asmodai says, but Sean, you've played a game. Doesn't that make you an expert in game design and development? Yes. But of course! I actually had a really fun conversation with the, What? Oh, I selected it and unselected one instead of selecting the one right next to it. I had a really fun conversation with the Big Bang folks about Straits of Danger recently, where I was talking about how bizarre it is that Straits of Danger is actually so fun. I mean, isn't that fucked up? I mean, that game that we conceptualized with them, it was fun. See what I mean? It was... Right? What? I mean, that's... It shouldn't be. Here's what I'm used to. Oh my god, I have a great idea. I'm going to end the stream a little early on Friday and get to work on it. And I make a new repository, and I get all my shit set up, and I make sure the color coding on VS Code is looking really up to date. I use Dracula. I get work, I get started. I end around 9:30. I have a beer, put my feet up, watch some TV, and I'm like, dude, tomorrow. What the hell? Are we losing connection? No! No! Why? Why are we losing? What the fuck? Guys, my internet is pooping. Pooping the bed. But I'm so used to my ideas going freaking nowhere, man. It looks like our internet is struggling. We're gonna give it a minute. But anyways, I get like really excited, and I go to bed on Friday night, and I'm like, this is fucking sick, I'm gonna make the sickest shit in the universe. And then I wake up on Saturday, and by 5 p.m. on Saturday, I have it like fully playable, and I'm like, yes, 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 it's gonna be amazing, and then it sucks. And I'm like, oh. And then I spend Saturday night moping, and Sunday I'm like, well, maybe I should play games and be a happier person. And then I play some games I feel a little bit better about my poopy self. This is really good. My goal is to get to... Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. My goal is to get to 5 blue and 10 mana, so that way I can Genesis Ultimatum, negate Mystic Dispute. Yep, it does appear to be... It could be my internet. It could be my internet. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. Yeah, no, I'm so used to every game prototype I ever make is, like, actually so bad that when it comes at the other end, I'm just like, oh, whatever. And then when it was actually fun, what? So I feel like if you're sitting there and you're thinking, man, I play games, I know exactly what makes a good game, I'd make a good game. You definitely would make a fucking terrible game. Guaranteed. I should suppose more accurately the statement would be, if you think those things, then the probability of you making a good game is substantially lower. Audio should be okay. Hanging at 1800 kilobits per second. Ba, ba, ba. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. 4, 5, 6, 7. Genesis Ultimatum! I think I did this wrong. Our internet is struggle-bearing. Audio's good here. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's the way that it should go. Holy shit, we did it! Yeah. Bam, 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 bam. Let's do white, black, red, blue. Game kept the black. Shark Typhoon's going to be like very, very, very cool here. It's going to be an extremely cool ability. I think that we could very well win the game. Very well. Lucas Moratore says, could you speak on how you developed a relationship with Woods of the Coast and hosting their events? If not, feel free to ignore. But I'm curious on how that went down, if they contacted you or you contacted them, etc. Yeah, Lucas, one of the just substantial advantages that I have as a human being is that my work is also a resume. For instance, if someone wants to hire me as a host, they probably are aware of me at all because I hosted the PC Gaming Show, or hosted a BlizzCon, or hosted a TI and then never did that again. They've probably seen me in one of these things, you know. Yeah, do I want to get out a huge bruh? Yeah, I'm gonna do this. And so, Graves says you did a great job at TI. I think I did okay. I would give myself a 5 out of 10 for that one. I did fine. I was completely value neutral as a host, in my eyes. Totally okay. Think it was like totally okay. I should have kept these back to block, huh? But like, if you've seen that literally gives me a leg up on all these other people. All these other people who want to work with me. So the when it comes to the relationship itself, I first interface with wizards via spell slingers. So like, you know, Geek and Sundry had a relationship with wizards somehow. They wanted to do a magic show somehow, and they needed someone who played magic to be the host. And I met Felicia through a friend. And Felicia was like, hey, Sean, you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, sure. I like magic. And so I think I did 5 seasons of Spell Slingers before Magic the Gathering Arena even existed. And fuck you. Now, Villain can use a Rogran, or excuse me, use a counterspell here. In most other circumstances. But we actually have the 3 mana, so we're totally fine. Let's just go in. Connection still sucks. I mean, that's basically it. So I feel like when it came to Wizards saying, hey, we should do an esports scene for Magic the Gathering Arena. Who is someone who has done hosting, who plays Magic? And I both had worked with them in Spell Slingers. I was streaming a lot of Magic the Gathering Arena. And I have a, curriculum vitae in the public. It's like really straightforward. Die. And I mean, this literally is, I think, maybe the greatest value of being a streamer. The greatest value is that everyone knows what I do. And I don't ever have to have a resume. I don't ever have to, like, sell myself, because I'm like... literally, hello.
I train in the shadows of giants.
Literally, hello.
Exhale.
We're all coming back. I mean, if you are like an artist, I remember there was this just brutal series of posts on Twitter My little heart broke, man. Where a bunch of people were like, share an image of the first game you worked on and the image of the last game you worked on. And it was just a thread of people going, first game I worked on, canceled. Most recent game I worked on, canceled. Been in the industry 15 years. And I was like, holy shit, man. Also, X equals 13. Hey, it looks like our bitrate's good. Welcome back. So I think a sensible maneuver to do is to attack this lass. Because either Yorion Deaths or not. Oh, because then you swing back for 8. Well, that's... I mean, this sucks. Let's get the 2 red manas out. Let's see, that's not true. Well, in grad school. Nope, our internet sucks again. All right. Well, I mean, I'm gonna just like keep playing for a little bit. And I mean, if the internet continues to give out, the internet continues to give out, and that's something that happens. And I will check up on the internet. I will call my ISP and say, can you help fix it? I'm so glad you can hear this audio. I'm thrilled. I'm D9, woohoo! All right, let's check up on Operation Dog. The internet giving out me this conversation is special since it won't be on YouTube. Oh, it'll be on YouTube. It's a live, a local recording that I upload via Dropbox in our editor. We'll find it. It is an absolutely amazing mind toming card. Dude of Valor, more like Dude of Concession. Audio's crystal clear? Well, hell yeah. Have you shown the pupper on stream yet? I haven't. And the my dear puppy is spending all day at the vet getting a ton of tests. Getting a bunch of tests, x-ray on the chest done, full blood sample. Doggy is not in good shape. Little doggy is not in good shape. Puns and Pounder says, odd question, but does Eric still play Magic? Yes. And Eric, who literally has a child... I mean, I just have a new dog. Eric has dogs and a whole child. Eric hit Mythic this month and I didn't. Fucking asshole. Okay? Listen, that's a new company rule. Eric is not allowed to outrank me at any point on any game. And it made me feel... What deck did he play? He played Historic Azorius Enchantments. Absolute butthead. Show me what you shark. So yeah, so that's been rough. That's been a real big... It's been a rift between me and Eric. This friendship and business relationship has gone down the toilet, man. Oh, it's me. It's infinitely mannered Vivian. Fuck. I'm due to Valor, and I bring Yorion back from the graveyard all the time. Also, this game is lagging like crazy, too, so the excruciating slow death has become the excruciatingest, slowestest deathest. Hey, Pudsey, how's it going? How's it going, Pudsey? Got a surprise MF. Alright, time to have Due to Valor begin giddily gaddling. No. Ow. Ow. Ooh. Stream also lagging? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We might be giving ourselves a light week this week. Send it all in. Now, A avenue is to block like this and let these things through. But I expect Due to Valor to instead do some sort of shenaniganry. Like, the negate is already down. There would be rare to run more than 2 negates. Clack, smack, bang. If you have a negate Due to Valor, then you are a better player. That's what I thought. So I'm gonna plus the Ugin. Ah!
Flames burn beyond perception.
The Grumple says, "Hey, Dana, I'm about to take my first technical interview next week. It's for a games industry job. You got any tips?" Well, it depends quite a bit upon a couple of things. If you're doing a technical interview, I encourage you to slow down, not to speed up. Right? I encourage you to slow down, not to speed up. Big danger, both in argumentation and in technical communication, is to try to sprint as fast as you possibly can to the answer. So, for instance, if someone said to you, you are given an array of integers sorted randomly. Write an algorithm to sort this array. Right? Something like very basic. Don't try to gack out the solution as fast. And also, don't go into fancy coder syndrome. I like a 3-step approach. 1, vaguely outline what you're doing. Okay, so first what I would do is I'd probably just come up with a simple outline, right? I would come up with a real simple outline of what I want to do, which is, I'd first set up an array that I'm going to have as like the new sort array. Then I'm actually going to do this particular sequence of things to, actually print it out. Jeez, that's actually such a simple problem. It's just like only 2 steps. Suppose that they asked you to write a function that would sort a list of, multi-dimensional data. And the function was sort by which element. So maybe it's like name of student, average GPA of student, and shoe size. You'd be like, okay, well, first I'm going to break it, and I'd have these three things like this. I'd break it into thing 1, and then thing 2, and then thing 3, and do that. So once I've done this, the second thing I want to do is I actually kind of want to, let's actually do these one piece at a time. So the first one, let's see, I would do this, and this, and this, and I would do this, and this, and this. Okay, and now that it's done, let me take a step back, and let me look at it. And now I'm going to ask myself, how might I optimize this? Is there any cleanup that I could do? If we were really in a hurry, I suppose I would just submit this. Sort of like give yourself a really simple intro, do the body that fleshes out what you've outlined really simply, and then sort of at the end, not just summarize what you did, but talk about what you might want to consider in terms of renaming, cleaning up, extending, stuff like this. Just slow down. Just slow the hell down. Pretty much any type of communication I've done where I've tried to speed up, I have both made it harder for the person to understand what the hell I'm saying, and also I find it even more challenging to do. Because if you are taking it really slowly, and also in terms of taking it slow, here's another thing you might give yourself permission to do, which is, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to think a little bit without speaking, just to organize my thought a bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to share an outline of how I'm going to think through this. That's fine to do. Interviewers love to say shit like, just think out loud. Have no fear of going, no. Give me 2 minutes to just think. And then start talking. Because if you spend 2 minutes thinking, and then everything that comes out of your mouth afterwards is calm, composed, smooth, pleasant, it doesn't matter that you took 2 minutes to do it. Because you're going to work on your very first day like 8 hours. And if you have a couple 2-minute pauses on day 1, nobody gives a shit. You've lost 12 minutes of your 8-hour day not talking and thinking. Let's play one more game, even though no one can see what I'm doing, because my internet's crap in the bed. Alright, we're up against another Yorion deck, which is kind of one of the deck du jours. Is this... what's the other color? Still Dimir. And I would encourage you to just look at a ton of interview questions and practice this style of communication until you are bored out of your fucking mind. Don't practice until you feel good. Practice until you are so tired of doing basic technical interview processes that you want to rip out your eyes. And then you'll be fine. Treacherous Blessing, huh? Colt Dracon, we're not 100% certain if it's our internet. We don't know if it's us yet. We know that it's bad. We know that everything sucks. Oh my god, it's Espriorian. Kill me. So we know that Villain really does not have instant speed ways of dealing with things, so Genesis Ultimatum can be quite punishing. It's likely our internet. It's likely our internet, though. Green, red, red, blue, blue, blue. Easy. Jesus Peasus. It's unfortunate because I really like this deck. I'm having quite a bit of fun playing it. Because you just suddenly explode. No, not a Skyclave Apparition, oh no! Oh my god, feck. Yeah, I think it's a little too obvious if I don't start smashing these things down, huh? Gaining life, bang. Bang. I've actually been very happy with my ISP. They pick up the phone in like 2 seconds every time. Commence Operation Swingo Dingo. I smashed down a bunch of landers. Think to know. Man, Razpak is just taking a beating from this Treacherous Blessing. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. X equals 7 from heaven. Well, this is good because I can still swing out for the massive beatdowns. This single Shark Typhoon is doing some work. Resolve, 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 resolve. Resolve, 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 resolve. What is the play here? Maybe I shouldn't have played that Kazuul's Fury because I could have smashed some face. Smash some face. Up and away. Nice. Very nice. Very good. Alright. Red. Red. Did it. Have a good night, surprise. Sleep well. So, Shatter the Sky in this meta? No. I didn't know anyone was running this card. Well, alright. Bang. I actually just would not have expected this card to be run, but maybe the meta's just been shifting a little bit more to more board control-y stuff. So I play that, and then if I go 1-2, and then 1-2-3, and then play it, I get 1-2 back. Is this right? Did I do this right? I'm actually just going to do it. I'm not even going to count. I'm fucking crazy, man. I'm crazy in the coconut. Mm-hmm. Big and scary, stalking beans. I really think Esperiorian is a very good deck. Man, this internet is not restabilizing. There is no stability. Well, Oh, my door's shut. Why would my door be shut? Why is my... Where is that? Alright. In related news... the connection out in the living room seems fine. So I don't know, are any other Twitch streams having any issues? Can anyone see or hear me? Move to the living room. Alright, so you can see me. Let me just whip up a entirely new studio. That's no problem. Snippety snap my fingers and get that going up. So yeah, I actually wonder if there's something going on with Twitch. Long Ethernet cable time? What do you mean? Probably should have shot that. Yeah, it's probably just my internet struggling. I did it. I shot him. Alright, if I don't get Genesis Ultimatum on the next one... then I'm probably just gonna... I'm just gonna concede this whole match, because, like, now my game is starting to really, really choke. Actually, you know, I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna do this. Guys, the stream is done today. It's done! Isn't that sad? Isn't that just devastation? Escape, concede. Ah! We're just gonna try again tomorrow. We're gonna be playing Historic tomorrow, so I'm probably gonna be doing some 3-color... Doing some 4-color mid-range action, which is basically Sultai plus Yasharn. Really excited to be doing that. This week, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I am hosting the Zendikar Championships. Hope to have you tune in. And until then, I'm terribly sorry. My internet is pooping. I'm going to go call the internetsers. See you tomorrow.